Hi, and welcome to the final part of our JAMB Mathematics Past Question for 2021. In this session, I'm going to be solving through the final 10 questions. Now, you should know that I've recorded 3 other parts where I looked at 10 questions. So that means so far I've solved 30 questions, and you should make sure to look at that. As we walk through these solutions, if you have any question, please drop it in the comment section and I will respond to them as soon as I can. And also, you should know that I've recorded tutorial videos for the entire JAMB curriculum for mathematics. So if you haven't yet, please, I will encourage you to subscribe and look at the videos that I've recorded to see if they'll be of help, and I'm sure they will. And also, I will encourage you to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you can get notified once I update any new solutions or any new video. So without any further ado, let's get started into the final part of our JAMB Mathematics Past Question for 2021. So moving on to question 31, we are told to factorize m cubed minus m squared plus 2m minus 1. Now this is pretty straightforward. And why is that the case? Because I can write this as what? M cubed minus m squared as one part, and I can write 2m minus 2 as the other part. Now, when I look at these two parts, you can see what is common to them. I can see that m squared is common. And what am I left with? I'm left with m in the first one, and in the second part, if I bring out m squared divided by m squared is 1, I'm left with 1. Similarly, in this other part, what is common to 2m and minus 2 will be 2. And when I factor out these two out, I'm left with what? M, and this will be minus 2 divided by 2 is 1. So as you can see, I have the same factor in between here. So to condense this together, I can write this as what? M squared then plus 2 and what? M minus 1. And that makes what? That makes option D the correct option. Moving on to the next, we are told to find that the angles of a quadrilateral. Now you know that a quadrilateral is a figure that has 4 sides. So this can, let's say this is our quadrilateral 4 sides. Yeah, we are told that the angles of this are what? Told that the first one is 5x minus 30. Second one is what? 4x plus 60. The third one is what? 60 minus x. And the final one is what? 3x plus 61. Now we're told that what? We should find the smallest of these angles. But you might ask me, how are we going to know which of these angles is the smallest? Now that rests on the idea of knowing that the sum of angles, so the sum of angles in a quadrilateral is what? Is 360 degrees. And that is why the sum of angles in a square or a rectangle, they are all 360 degrees. So any four-sided figure, the sum of angles is going to be equal to 360. That means if we sum each of these individual angles, we can figure out what the value of x is, because you know that they must add up to 360. So writing that down, we can say what? 5x minus 30 plus 4x plus 60 plus 60 minus x plus 3x plus 61 must be equals to 360. Now if I collect like times, 5x plus 4x minus x plus 3x is going to give me 11x, and minus 30 plus 60 and plus 61 is going to give me 151. So plus 151 will be equals to 316. So I know that 11x will just be 360 minus 151, and that is what? 11x will be equals to what? 209. And if I divide both sides by 11 divided by 11, rather, I know that my x is going to be equals to what? Is equals to 19. So I can substitute the value of 19 into each of these angles to figure out what they are. So for the first one over here, let me do that over here. We have 5x minus 30, and that is going to be equals to what? 5 into bracket 19 then minus 30 And when you simplify that, what are you going to get? You're going to get 5 times 19 is 95, and minus 30, that will give me 65. So moving on to the next one, so we have 4x plus 60, and that will be 4 times 19 minus 60, or plus 60 rather. So we have 4 times 19, which is 76, and plus 60 give me 136. And the next one is just 60 minus x, which is what? 60 minus 19, which is 41. And the final one is what? 3x plus 61, which will be 3 times 19 plus 61, which is 118. So which of them is the smallest? You can see that 41 degrees is the smallest of these angles, and that corresponds to what? 60 minus x. So the correct option to this is option what? Option C. So moving on to the next question, we are told that to find the nth term of a sequence 2, 6, 12, 20. Now this, as you can see, this is not a arithmetic progression, because you can see that the distance between 2 and 6 is 4, but the distance between 6 and 12 is 6. So the distances are not constant, so this is not an arithmetic progression. Again, this is not a geometric progression because the division between them are not constant. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So this is also not a geometric progression. So this is one of those weird sequences we're trying to figure out what it is, can be kind of like tricky. So the best approach to take in this case would be to test out different options to see which of them will give you the sequence that you have. So now let's try out the first option. So if you assume that the nth term is given by 4n minus 2, let's assume that. So what will be the first term? So the first term will be when n is equals to 1. So when n is equals to 1, we can write 4 into bracket 1 minus 2, and that will be 4 minus 2, which is 2. Interesting. We got 2. The first term is 2. Okay, not bad. Let's move on to the next term. Okay, what if when n is equals to 2? We're going to have 4 times 2 minus 2. What is 4 times 2? 8. 8 minus 2. 6. Oh, we get the second term. Oh, not bad. But let's move on to the third one. So if n is equals to 3, we're going to have 4 into bracket 3 minus 2. Now, what is 4 times 3? 12. 12 minus 2, 10. Like, oh, it breaks down. We did not get 12. So we know that option A is not what it is. Now let's move on to option B. If n is equals to 1, let's try that out. N is equals to 1. Oh, what would that be? That is going to be 2 into bracket 3 times 1, which is 3 minus 1. What is 3 minus 1 is 2. And what is 2 times 2? 2 times 2 is 4. Oh, 4 is not the first term. So this even breaks down from the first term. Now let's move on to the option, the third option, C. It says n squared plus a. So if n is equals to 1, what would that be? That's going to be 1 squared plus 1. And what is 1 squared plus 1? That is 1 plus 1, which is 2. Oh, the first term is 2. This works. What if n, for the second term, n is equals to 2? We're going to have 2 squared plus 2. What is 2 squared for? 4 plus 2 is what? 6. Oh, that is our second term. Fantastic. Let's move on to the next one. N is equals to 3. That will be what? 3 squared plus 3. What is 3 squared? 9. What is 9 plus 3? 12. Oh, fantastic. And n is equals to 4. That will be what? 4 squared plus 4. What is 4 squared? 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 4 is what? 20. Fantastic. So you can see that with this term, we're able to replicate all our terms in the sequence 2, 6, 12, and 20. And that makes option C the correct option. So moving on to the next question, we are told that if the binary operation is defined by m star n is equals to mn plus n for any real number m and n, find the identity of elements under this operation. Now, I love binary operation because it's one of those less known topics, and I've recorded a video on binary operations, which I'll put the link in the description so you can understand what it is. But the concept of an identity element is Think of it this way: the identity element of real numbers is 1, because when I multiply any real number, let's say when I multiply any real number a, let's say 9 by 1, I'm going to get that same number 9. So if I multiply any real number by 1, I'm going to get that number. So 1 is like the identity element of all real numbers, because when you multiply any number by 1, you get that number. So that is the same concept of an identity element. So identity element is, let me call the identity element E. So the idea is when you do the operation by, let's say, E, you are going to get what? The same number M. So think of this E as 1 or whatever it is, and when you perform the operation with the identity element, you are supposed to get back this number that I started with, in this case, which is M. Now we can apply this concept into what we have over here. So we know that M star E also, we know that M star E is equals to M. We can call this equation 1. At the same time, we know that M star E, we can expand that using the definition that I've been given over here. We know that M star N is Mn plus M plus N. So we know that M star E will be equals to what? Me, replacing N with E, plus M plus E, right? Plus E. Yeah, fantastic. So what can we do? We can equate these two sides together. So we know that Me plus M plus E must be equals to M over here. So what can we do now? We can try to like factor out the E that we have over here. So we know that Me plus E is equals to M minus M, which is 0. So E is common here into bracket, M plus 1, that will be equals to 0. And if it divided both sides by M plus 1, we know that anything divided by 0 is 0. And that means E is equals to 0. And that makes option D to be our correct option. So what does it mean? It means that if I take any number M, for example, and I operate it with the identity element, in this case, which you found out to be 0, I'm supposed to end up with M. So let's try it out. This is going to be based on our expression M times 0 plus M plus 0. Now M times 0 is 0, that will be 0 plus M plus 0. And we can see that what? M operation 0 is equals to what? M. And which is our definition of identity element. I know that this might seem a little bit complex, but I'll put a link to the full video where I get into better details on how to tackle binary operation. Now moving on to the next question, we're told to factorize completely this weird looking expression. Now the thing that stands out to us immediately is that this is a kind of a problem in difference of 2 squared. Now what do I mean by that? Now this is just all about writing the expression in a form that is understandable. So we start out by having 81 a raised power 4 minus 16b to the power 4. Now we know that 81 can be written as 3 to the power 4, because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81 a raised power 4, minus as 16 can be written as 2 to the power of 4 b raised power 4. Now this is from our law of indices. You know that this can be written as 3a to the power of 4 minus what? 2b to the power of 4. Now from our difference of 2 squares, we know that what? A minus b squared, or a squared minus b squared, is equals to what? A minus b, a plus b. So now how can we write this expression in terms of squared? So now this is the same thing as saying what? 3a squared raised to power 2 minus 2b squared all raised to power of 2, because you know from our indices, to bring this into this, you just need to multiply the exponent. So this is the same thing as saying 3a raised to power 4. But the interesting thing about this now is that we can apply our difference of 2 squared, because we already have our expression in there and we have already found the square of it. So this is the same thing as going to be being this minus this in this case, which is going to be 3a squared minus 2b squared then times 3a squared plus 2b squared. Again, if you look at this carefully, this also is like a difference of 2 squared, and now we have our squared, so we can simplify this also. So this is going to be what? 3a minus 2b and 3a plus 2b. Now I can expand this final term that I have over here. Now 3 squared is 9, so this is going to be the same thing as saying 9a squared plus 2 squared is what? 4, so that's 4b squared. So this is the factorization of that expression. 3a minus 2b, 3a plus 2b, and 9a squared plus 4b squared. And that makes option C the correct option to this. Moving on to the next question, we are told to find x, find x if log x base 9 is equals to 1.5. Now the thing to remember is one of our laws of logarithm that says if you have log of a base b is equals to, let's say, let me just call this y. This is the same thing as saying what? The base here, or the same thing as saying this power over here, a is equals to, and taking this base over here, b, and raising it to the power of y. So applying that same concept, this is one of our crucial laws of logarithm. So applying that same concept, this is the same thing as saying what? X is equals to 9 to the power of 1.5. Right? So now we know that this is the same thing as saying, and 9 raised to the power 1.5 is the same thing as saying 1.5 is the same thing as saying 3 over 2. And again, from our law of logarithms, we know that a, or let me say a number, let me just call a number a raised to the power x over y is the same thing as saying the square root of the base of y all raised to the power of what? Of x. So applying that same concept here, this is the same thing as saying the square root of what? Of 9 all raised to the power of what? 3. And what is the square root of 9? The square root of 9 is 3. And what is 3 raised to the power of 3? 3 raised to the power of 3 is 27. And that makes correct option A the correct option. So if you have any question with this, please drop it in the comments. And if this is not clear, I've recorded a full video on logarithm, and I encourage you to watch it to have a better understanding of the laws of logarithm. So moving on to the next question, we are told to list all integers satisfying the inequality in -2 less than 2x minus 6 less than 4. So the first thing you need to do is to try to break this down into the different parts. So we take the first part. So the first part says that what? -2 is less than 2x minus 6. Now, and what is the second part? The second part says that what? 2x minus 6 is less than 4. So what do? We try to like solve each of these different parts individually. So now we know that we can switch the other sides. So we can write this as 2x minus 6. But when we bring the left hand side to the right hand side, we have to change the inequality sign. So this becomes 2x minus 6 is greater than -2. And we can simplify this. So 2x will be greater than, this becomes -2. When we bring this over here, we have what? Plus 6. So 2x must be greater than, -2 plus 6 is 4. And if I divide both sides by 2, I have my x must be greater than what? X must be greater than 2. Now the second part, let's try to solve that. So that means my 2x must be less than, when I take the 6 to the other side, I have what? 4 plus 6. So my 2x must be less than 10. And when I divide both sides by 2, I have what? X must be what? Less than 5. So this is the solution. I know that my x must be greater than 2. Let me draw my number line over here to make it visually. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that x must be greater than 2. So x must be greater than 2. But at the same time, x must be less than 5. So x must be less than 5. So which of these integers satisfy this condition? The only integers that satisfy these conditions are what? 3 and 4. And the reason is because we have a strict less than. assuming we had less than or equals to, then 5 might be included. But since we have just a strict less than, we know that 5 cannot be included. And the same thing, because we have a strict greater than, we know that 2 cannot be included. So the only integers that satisfy this equation are just what, 3 and 4. And that makes option D the correct option. So moving on to the next, we are told that given that x is due east point of y on a coast. Okay, so now we're told that a point y, let's start from there. We have a point y. Let me call this place y. And we're told that what, you know our 4 cardinal points. Let me draw that down. You have your north, south, west, and east. West and east. Now we're told that the point x is due east of y. So that means the point x is on the east coordinate of y. So if I draw a line over here, I get where my x is. So this is where my x is again. Now we're told that z is another point on the coast, but 6 kilometers due south of y. So I have another point again, z, which is 6 kilometers south of y. So that means the point z is from the south of y. That means it comes down to my point z. And I know that what the distance there, I'm told, is what, 6 kilometers. Now I'm asked that if the distance zx is 12 degrees, that means if the distance from here to here is what, is 12 kilometers rather, not degrees. It's 12 kilometers. What have I been told to do? I've been told to find the bearing of x from z. So let me draw this properly. So now I've been told to find the bearing of z from x. And what the bearing of z from x means is that I should calculate from the north over here what this angle is. That is exactly what the bearing means. Now, there are several ways to think about it, but if you look at it carefully, you can see that the angle from here to here is what? Angle from here to here is 90. The angle from here to here is 180 from here to here, and the angle from here all the way back to this line over here is what? 270 degrees. Let me draw that out so that you can see that clearer. This is 90, this is 90, this is 90. So the total angle here is what? Is 270 degrees. But I have a line over here, which is what we have over here. Now, if I can somehow figure out what the angle over here is, let me call it A. So if I subtract this angle A from 270, I can figure out what the bearing is, or what this angle is. So the goal now is to figure out what this angle over is, and let me call that A. Now again, as you can see, because this goes from the south and east, this is definitely a right angle triangle. So let me just quickly draw that out. So I have a right angle triangle. I'm told that the distance here is 12, distance here is 6, and I'm trying to find the angle here. Let me call the angle here theta. So remember, what would this be? From the angle theta, I know my opposite, which would be 6, and my hypotenuse in this case, which would be 12, and that is what? Sine, because my sine theta is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Now, what is my opposite? My opposite is 6 and my hypotenuse is 12. So I know that sine theta, so sine theta will be what? Half. 6 over 12 is half. So theta will be what? Sine inverse of half, or 0.5, and that is equal to what? 30 degrees. Now you should know your trigonometry identity, and that the sine of 30 degrees is half. So the arc sine of half is 30 degrees. So I know that this angle here will be what? 30 degrees. So now to find the bearing, it's just going to be what? 270, which minus what? Minus the 30 degrees. And what would that be? That is just going to be 240 degrees. And that makes option A the correct option. So if you have any questions with regards to this, please drop them in the comments, and I will also put a link to the full video where I delved into bearing and trigonometry, so you can have a better understanding of how to approach these kinds of questions. So moving on to the next, we are told that a group of market women sell at least one of yam, plantain, and maize. 12 of them sell maize, 10 sell yam, 14 sell plantain, 3 sell plantain and maize, 4 sell yam and maize, 2 sell yam and plantain only, while 3 sell all 3 items. How many women are in the group? Now this is a classic set question, and the best way to address it is to just try to look at it from the lens of your Venn diagram. So I'm going to draw 3 cycles. So you have your first cycle. Forgive my diagram, or I can do better. Let me make it better. So I have my first cycle over here, and I'm going to call that yam. Now I have my second cycle over here. I'm going to call that plantain, and I have my third cycle over here, and I'm going to call that what? Maize. Now we know that first 3 sell, why 3 of them sell all 3 items. I know that 3 of them, 3 is going to occupy the intersection of all 3 cycles, which is what we have over here. So this is going to be 3. Now I know that 12 of them sell maize, so that means 12 of them sell maize, which is 12 over here. But these 12 of them selling maize will include all of them that sell maize, plus all of them that sell maize and plantain, plus all of them that sell maize and yam, plus all of them that sell all 3. That is why I've put the 12 outside and not inside here, because I wanted to just represent those that sell maize only. Now the next one says 12 of them sell, 10 of them sell yam. The same thing, total number of people selling yam is 10, and the number of selling plantain is what? 14. So that means all this circle for plantain is what? Is 14. Now 5 sell plantain and maize. So where is plantain and maize? This is plantain and maize. This line over here is plantain and maize, and I'm told that this line over here is what? Is 5. Let me just draw this line here. 5. So 5 of them sell plantain and maize. Now I'm told that 4 sell yam and maize. So where is yam and maize? Yam and maize is this space over here. So 4 of them sell yam and maize, and 2 sell yam and plantain only. So where is the 2 that sell yam and plantain? So this is yam and plantain, but because they are selling yam and plantain only, that means it does not include those that sell all 3 of them. So I can directly write my 2 inside this space over here. So let's think about it. Now 5 of them sell plantain and maize, which is this over here. But out of these 5 of them, 3 of them also sell all 3 of them. So the ones that sell just plantain and maize only is just going to be this 5 minus the number that sell all 3 of them. So this is going to be 5 minus 3, which is what? 2. So the number that sells what? All plantain and maize only is going to be 2. Similarly, the number that sell yam and maize only, we are told that 4 of them sell yam and maize, but that will include those that sell all 3 of them. So in this case, the ones that sell just yam and maize only will just be 4 minus those that sell all 3 of them, which is 4 minus 3, and that is equals to 1. So now you see that we're already filling up all the cycles. So now what we're left to fill up is this spot over here, this spot over here, and this spot over here. So now let's figure out the number that sell yam only. So the number of yam that sell yam only will be this 10 minus the number that sell yam and plantain only, minus the number that sell 3, that sell all 3 of them, minus those that sell just yam and maize. So in this case, that is just going to be 10 minus what we have here, the sum of all these 3 numbers here. So what is 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 plus 1 is 6. So the number that sell yam only will just be what? 10 minus 6, and that is equals to 4. So the number that sell yam only now is what? 4. We can do the same thing for plantain. We know that 14 sell plantain, but that will include those that sell all 3 and those that sell just plantain and yam only and plantain and maize only. So we need to find what those are first. So what is 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3 is 5, and what is 5 plus 2? 5 plus 2 is what? 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. So number that sell plantain only will just be what? 14 minus 7, and that is equals to 7. Now, and finally, you can pause the video and try to do this on your own. So the number that sell maize only will just be what? This maize, we know that the total number is 12, but we have to subtract the numbers that sell all 3, those that sell maize and yam only, and those that sell maize and plantain only. So what is 3 plus 2? 5 plus 1 is 6. So that will be what? 12 minus 6, and that is equals to what? 6. So the number that cell may is only equals to 6. So the total number of women is just going to be what? The sum of all these individual numbers that we have over here, which in this case will be 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 and plus 3. So what would that add up to be? 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 7 17, plus 2 19, plus 1 20, plus 2 22, and plus 3 25. So the number of women in the group is what? Is 25, which is A. So again, to summarize what I did, what I tried to do is try to find out what the number of women that did each of these particular sections were. And once I was able to figure that out, I was able to sum up all the women that did all of them, or all the women that were in the group, in this case, which sum up to be 25. Again, if you have any question, put it in the comments, and I've also put a link to the full tutorial video on Venn diagram so that you can have a better understanding on what this is. So now moving on to the final question of our JAMB Past Question for 2021. So this says that if x plus 2 and x minus 1 are factors of an expression, this, find the values of L and K. Now this is quite straightforward if you really understand what we're going to do. So we know that what are the factors? We're told that the factors are x plus 2 and x minus 1. So in this first case, we know that if we put, so we know that when we solve this eventually, we know that x plus 2 is equals to 0 as a factor. So we know that x is equals to what? Minus 2. In this case, we know that x minus 1 is equals to 0. So then we know that what? X is equals to what? Is equals to 1. So what can we say? We know that if we express the value of minus 2 as x plus minus 2 into this expression, that should be equals to 0. So we can do that. We know that L, we're given that L into brackets minus 2 plus 2k into bracket what? Minus 2 squared plus 24 must be equal to 0, because that way it means to be factor. So L times minus 2 will be what? Minus 2L. Then minus 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 8k. And when I bring this to the other side, 24, this becomes minus 24. And if I divide everything by minus 2, I have what? I have L minus 4k is equals to what? 12. 24 minus 2 is 12, and minus divided by minus is plus. Now let's move on to the next part, substituting x as 1. So if I do that, I'm going to have what? L into bracket 1 plus 2k times 1 squared plus 24 must be equal to 0. So again, this is just going to be L plus 2k is equals to what? Minus 24. So what can I do? I can try to solve, these are two simultaneous equations, and what I can try to do is try to solve them using elimination method. So to solve them using elimination method, let me bring this expression underneath this one, where I have L minus 4k is equals to 12, and try to subtract equation 2 from 1. So if I subtract this from this, L minus L will cancel out. 2 minus minus 4k will give me 2 plus 4k, which is 6k. And minus 24 minus 12 will give me what? Minus 36. So if I divide both sides by 6, I know that what? K is equal to what? Minus 6. Now I can substitute the value of k as minus 6 in this expression here to find the value of L, or any expressions to be honest. So L in this case is equals to minus 4 times, so sorry, L so substitute the value of k as minus 6, that will give me L minus 4 into bracket minus 6 is equals to 12, right? So I know that L, what is minus 4 times minus 6? Minus times minus is plus, and 6 times 4 is 24. So L plus 24 is equals to 12. So L will be equals to what? 12 minus 24. And that is equals to what? Minus 12. So L is equals to minus 12 and K is equals to what? Minus 6. And that makes option A the correct option. And that brings us to the end of our JAMB past question for 2021. If you have any question, please do put them in the comment section. And if a topic is not clear, you can watch a tutorial video that I have on that specific topic to get a better understanding. And finally, do make sure to subscribe so that you can get notified when I put new video, and click on also the notification bell so that you get updated of new videos that I put. And for now, take care and good luck in the JAMB exams and in your preparations, and I'll see you soon.